Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Trent T. Daniel back with another edition of Mastering the Markets, the video series created specifically to keep you from becoming a broke ass trader. Remember, this is a no broke ass trader zone. We just don't do broke around here. I want to talk to you guys today about the moving average crossover strategy. But before we get into that, could you please hit that like and subscribe button and let the people at YouTube know that you're loving what you're seeing? And it will certainly incentivize us to keep creating more of this awesome content for you. The moving average crossover strategy is pretty popular. A lot of people use it. Most people lose their shirts and they use it the wrong way. Period. End of story. That's just the way it happens. So what I want to do today is share with you a little tip that I use in order to make my moving average crossover strategy work a lot better and yield much better results. And then I'm going to show you a free indicator that I found on TradingView that is pretty good with some perspective and with some tweaking. Okay, so let's jump straight into the charts here. You know, I love these charts. And I just pulled up a random chart here. I've got CAD CHF, which is Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. And this is on a 1 hour chart. I typically like to trade, and I'll typically do most of my trainings off of the 4 hour or the 1 hour chart, but I really love the daily, the 4 hour and the 1 hour. I don't too much get into the 5 minute or the 15 minute chart unless I'm scalping, and which I really just don't do a lot of that. I just don't see no need to do it, but it might work for you. So lower time frames are fine, but this is going to be on the 1 hour chart, but this will apply to any chart. Okay. So we've got our chart here, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up the three moving averages, okay, which are the common ones, which is the 20, the 50, and the 200. The 20 moving average is the yellow line, the 50 is the red line, and the 200 is the green line. Just in case you don't know this and you're new, and believe me, it took me really a long time to really understand what the moving averages were, even after I started learning to trade. But the moving averages are basically an average of the last 20 bars. Okay, so basically you take 20 of these bars. So on a 1 hour time frame, it's 20 hours. It's the average pricing of those bars. 50 is the average pricing of 50. 200 is the same thing. Okay, so that's what they are, and then they're plotted on this chart here to give me a graphical representation of these averages. Now, if you notice, the 20 moves faster and is a lot more has a lot more ups and downs to it than the 50 does, and the 200 has the fewest of them all. It's very few, because the 200 is averaging out 200 bars, which is 200 hours, and so that tends to be a lot more flat, but it's a good indicator of global direction. That's why we use the 200. Okay, so what is the 20 period moving average strategy, or actually some people call it the 20-50 strategy? Well, it's simply this: whenever you see this yellow line cross over the red line, that is typically in a signal to go ahead and take a trade. Now, we're just going to go off of just starting off with that. We're not going to add any other areas of confluence in there. So that's what the strategy is. So, and basically, as I go through this chart, you'll be able to see that, yeah, sometimes it yields a pretty good result. So over the 20 cross the 50 right here. So let's say you got in right at the top of this bar, which was a green bar. It closed here. So you went, this would have been a down signal because the 20 crossed down under the 50. So you would jump in right here at the top of this green bar, and then you see the price immediately went down, and then it bounced right back up, and then it went down substantially. So if you didn't have too tight of a stop loss set, you actually did well on this trade. No harm, no foul. Everything is good. So let's go look for again. Okay, so the 20 crosses over the 50 here. You get in here, you have this big drop off. Hey, you're doing great. You're killing it. You're making millions, right? Then you have another situation here where the 20 crosses over, and then you got this big drop off way down here, and you're absolutely setting the world on fire, and everything is good. And you just know that this strategy is perfect for everything and everyone. Let's see another situation. You get in here, and you have immediate drop off. So you probably would have lost this trade because it came all the way back down to the 20. So that X'd you out. But overall, as you can see, when the 20 crosses the 50, you are getting some relatively good signals in here. But there is a pitfall to this strategy, and that pitfall is this, and this is the little trick that I use. And if you know this, then you're going to be good. You will most likely be in an okay position if you play the 20 crossing over the 20 crossing the 50 strategy. If you do this one thing, you make sure that the price is not far away from the 20 moving average line at the time you get in on the trade. Okay, so here's an example here. This one got in, and you see how close at the bottom of that red bar there. Let's zoom in for you. Okay, you see right at the bottom of that red bar that I got in, and because I got in at the bottom of a bar close to the 20, I have a lot of upside. Now we got a lot of help here because you had this big bar that spiked up here. Okay, but this strategy can be profitable, but you do have to be careful to make sure you're not getting in too far away. So let's say that actually happens. What do? Let's find a scenario. Here's one right here. So you've got a cross. Well, look how far up this is. Okay, and so if it crosses right there, then we're coming in at the top of this bar. Well, this is far away, so you pretty quickly have some drawdown. In this example, you're not getting killed on this, but that does happen a lot where the price draws back down and it stops you out. So the first thing is make sure you have a good um, uh, stop loss in place. You're a little bit liberal with that. You give it some room. And the second thing is make sure you get in as close to the 20 as possible. Here's another example. In fact, this is a perfect example of what could go wrong. You've got a situation where you have a 20 cross, but look at where the close is at. It's all the way down here. So now you are literally, you're in a sell position, but you're literally facing some drawdown. You had a couple of pips here of profit that you got into, 6 or 7 pips, and then you drew down 10 or 15 pips. It did come back around. So the key is you are better off when the moving averages cross, waiting until the price gets back to the 20, and look at how much more value you're going to get when this candle starts to drop. So this candle closed here, you see the red. Now you're picking up 34 pips, okay? So you're picking up a lot more pips from here to there than you are from, where would the crossover happen? From here down to here, you're only picking up 24 pips. So you picked up 10 more pips just by getting into the position closer to the 20 than farther away, okay? And you can just go in and look at example after example. Here's another one. You see the 20 crosses over the 200, so you would be getting in right there. Well, you have, as far as profit is concerned, you've picked up 20 pips if you stayed in all the way to there, and you had 10 pips worth of drawdown. So if you were on a 1-to-2 ratio, you might have gotten stopped out here, all right? So, but let's see what happens if you waited until the price got back to the 20 and then you took it, even though the trend started to reverse. So look at this situation here. It got out, you got in on this green when it comes back across, and now you're picking up a good solid 10 pips, but you have very little draw. I'm sorry, you're picking up 13 pips, but you have very little drawdown to it. So again, if you're going to use the moving average crossover strategy, make sure when you get the signal or when you notice that the 20 has crossed over the 50, look at where is the price in relation to that 20 period moving average. If it's close to it, then get some other points of confluence like your RSI, your MACD, or whatever, then go ahead and take that trade. If it's far away from it, see if you can wait until, like in this example here, it's far away from it. So see if you can wait until the price comes back and see if you can pick up some action and that way, okay? Here's another example. You see the 20 crosses right there. I'm way down here, okay? I'm far away, but fortunately, I have this drop off. But had this not happened, then I level out, then I could have gotten in my position, gotten myself into a position where I got stopped out. Okay. So that's the key to that. Now, I want to show you this indicator, and it is free on TradingView. You just go into your indicators chart and you would type in, I think that, and I found this actually by accident. I was looking for moving average crossover. Yeah, moving average cross alert, this one right here. So let me see if that's the same one. Yeah, it's the same one here. So I just pulled this up, but the reason I like this indicator, it actually does something a little bit different. It does use a crossover strategy, but it uses a 50-100 strategy as opposed to a 20 over 50. And the reason it uses the 50 instead of a 20 as the fast moving average is the 50 tends to move a little less fast and not be as reactive, which the longer term signal that you're getting, the more stable it tends to be, okay? So I really love that about this indicator. But as you can see, this indicator does have some pitfalls because it can give you a signal when the price is really high, when that bar closes after the cross, as opposed to waiting until the price retraces down. So if you use this indicator, just make sure that because this is going to send you an alert when that crossover happens, and you can actually use that. And if you're using automation, you can send it into your trading system. But remember, you want to, if you get an alert and then you come look at the chart and you see, okay, this is where the price is, why don't you try to wait until you can see if the price comes back and touches that? And if it does do that, then you wait for a green candle to break back above that average, and then you go ahead and fire off the trade. So you got this trade at this alert at 3 in the morning, and this is really not a trade you should have gotten into until 10 o'clock the next morning. Okay. And once that crossed back over, but then look at all this, you're in nothing but profit here. I mean, you're sitting gold, and we went to run this green bar here. So look at this, you're just picking up profit. Even when you draw down, you're only coming down what, 14 pips, then you pick up more profit, you're 60 pips. Okay. So the moving average crossover strategy does work, and it can work very well. You just have to make sure you do it the right way. I'm going to do stop losses and entry and stop losses and take profit points in the next video. But I wanted to just kind of get you to the point where you can understand how you can make the moving average crossover strategy work much better for you, and a free indicator that you can actually use. In the next video, I'll actually cover how to set stop losses and take profits. Guys, I absolutely love doing these videos. I hope you love them as well. If so, please hit like and subscribe, and we'll keep kicking them out for you. We'll talk to you in the next videos when we're discussing stop losses and take profits when you're using the moving average crossover strategy. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.